Welcome to Channel X TV, sponsored by Volo, and delighted to be joined today by Kevin from Baselinker. So, welcome, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm very well, thanks, Chris. Thanks for the invite.
So, we're going to talk all things marketplaces today, but I want to start right at the top of the tree with the newest marketplace in the UK, which is Tesco just launched. Eventually, I thought they were going to launch a few months ago, but what have you seen from Tesco so far? Because big supermarket, surely they've got to be a big challenger in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. I think we've seen continuation of the marketplace trends ongoing in the UK, and for Tesco's, we knew Tesco's were thinking about launching in the UK, and that there have been discussions and noise about that. But yeah, they've come with a big hit going back into the marketplace environment, and with some of the sellers that they've initially onboarded. I think it's definitely one to watch, and I think they can play a significant part in the infrastructure of the marketplaces in the UK.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting times to see so many UK retailers morphing into a marketplace model. And I do want to talk about some of them. But before we get to that, the other one that I'm fascinated with is the growth of Temu in the UK, who have literally come from nowhere 2 years ago, thrown a ton of marketing money at it, and again, phenomenal growth. But questions asked, is it low quality, low ASP Chinese stuff? Although they've now started letting retailers in the UK, Europe, France, Germany, Spain, and the US actually sell and fulfill locally. But also, Reed, they've got something like 80 Boeing 777 a day full of cargo with the stuff people have purchased, and really there's no air freight left because they've taken up the whole lot. So what do you reckon to Temu, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as you said, they've been really aggressive with their marketing strategy, and I think everyone has either seen or they've got family members that have had, them push into, obviously, for them to sign up to their apps and the application. But I think for the UK market, I think you can't ignore when you've got someone that's got the broad range of inventory at low cost that's available. And I think, and as you see in the news, one of the key things now is the establishment of inventory in country, which will obviously speed up the delivery and the execution of their product offer. So I think it's one not to dismiss as another one that's going to be, woven into the fabric of marketplaces for the UK.
And interestingly, with Temu, I've actually seen recently they've been offering discounts if you don't mind stuff being shipped by land, which is going to take a month and a half to arrive, as opposed to shipping by air, which takes 7 to 10 days to arrive. So I'm thinking they're probably running out of capacity for air freight and just can't get any more. So in-country shipment is going to be more and more important. It'd be interesting to see who the first brands or retailers to jump on Temu in the UK are.
Yeah, and I think obviously you've got the other major established marketplaces and the likes of eBay that has been in that kind of market in those price points with customers.
eBay and Amazon, in fact.
Yeah, absolutely, and Amazon. So I think they will react, but it's the case is that I think it's great for the consumer because the consumer gets more choice, and I think it's for the brands. It's about them deciding and merchants deciding where they want to position their product and make sure that it's available where the customer is, and social or distributed commerce, whether that's through Temu or whether that's through other social apps and things. As a business, you need to be considering, how do I get onto those different marketplaces to give you the best option to be in front of your customer?
Yeah. And I think it's worth remembering for all the brands that are watching this thinking, no way on earth I'm going on Temu. You brands were saying this about eBay and Amazon 15, 20 years ago, and you're all on eBay and Amazon now. So it's probably going to happen sooner or later. Probably not the right time yet, but I think give them a couple of years and the brands could all be jumping on.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how the inventory range evolves, the selection, the price points, as it may be an entry point, but actually over time, then that will change. and that's happened on other marketplaces, as we saw with the likes of eBay and then Amazon, is that especially eBay is where the price points now reflect from top end inventory to right the way down to the sort of the more cost effective. So I think there's no reason why that Temu wouldn't follow that kind of model as well.
So eBay and Amazon, we all know them. They're well-proven marketplaces. Tesco and Temu, brand new, maybe not the right time to jump in yet, or Tesco's might be time to consider. Temu, probably not yet. But let's look at some of the marketplaces which are relatively new, but really established names. I'm thinking the B&Qs, the Debenhams, the Boots, the JD Sports of the world, most of the Mirakl marketplaces. What are you seeing from demand from consumers for retailers' products? And I should say, obviously, Baselinker, you actually manage people's operations on marketplaces, so you see some of the numbers. What sort of demand are you seeing, and what sort of retailers are really benefiting from these new marketplaces?
So I think yeah, absolutely. So Baselinker, just to, we currently manage over 27,000 businesses and brands and retailers globally. So, and each of those will range from small companies or startups right the way through to enterprise organizations, and they all have a different requirement. But ultimately, part of our software solution is that we allow connection to all these different marketplaces, that whether they're established or or evolving or new marketplaces that we're now seeing coming into play. So I think, and from a customer, a brand or a retailer, they're always asking us, when they see one of these new marketplaces, can we help support that integration as part of our software, because they want to be on it, because they want to be in front of the consumers on that marketplace. But they're also question whether, what countries are those marketplaces currently in. The likes of OnBuy in the UK is now obviously pushing out into Europe, and it's like, how can they then be visible in those other markets as well? So there's always this kind of this thought process that we see with the customers that we've got, that they need to review all the marketplaces and find out which ones are the most suitable for the products and the ranges that they sell. And some marketplaces will be more relevant than others. But these new, we're now seeing the big hitting brands, the likes of Debenhams, obviously creating marketplaces using through Mirakl, who we work with, and we can integrate our customers through Mirakl on that platform. As well as, the other key brands like B&Q, which is, as you know, has been a massive growth over the last 12 months. Growth. Yeah, it's been really good. And, those kind of brands and retailers that have got the right type of products for that marketplace and that have been accepted on there, that they will come to us, as we've already got sellers that are selling on B&Q, that, how can we do it efficiently using our software, and we can get on and help them to navigate through using Mirakl as the platform. So lots of conversation every time a new one comes on board or is talked about, like Tesco's. The conversations come in from our sellers, that how do we participate, and is it worth us participating on that platform?
And these new marketplaces, retailer led marketplaces, the growth is phenomenal. I'm anecdotally, I've been speaking to people over the last couple of years, and I mean, Debenhams, everyone thought it was dead when the high street shut, but their marketplace is driving phenomenal traffic and sales for some brands and retailers. And B&Q, I think something like 40% of their online sales are now marketplace sales. So these are big numbers, too big an opportunity to ignore. Yet you may not have the right product set, or it may not be the right time for you. But as a brand or a retailer, you've got to consider it and decide when is the right time to jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got to consider it as part of your strategy. And is it, do you have the infrastructure in place to be able to support those marketplaces? Because ultimately, if you do it right, you're going to get a higher demand. Therefore, have you got the systems in place that will be able to meet that demand, and the infrastructure in place to meet the demand on that marketplace? And that's what at Baselinker, our end-to-end solution is to help customers to be able to manage that increase in volume. And I think that the other thing is that a lot of the more successful marketplaces now, ones that seem to be doing really well, are on an invite only basis. So they're really being selective in the inventory. They're not generalists, or so it's about engaging with those marketplaces as well, and actually having relevant inventory that would be right and sit alongside the inventory that they've got on their platform. So there's kind of that kind of piece to consider is, do you have the kind of inventory or brands that would be relevant for the likes of B&Q, even though they might be expanding out the different categories that they're playing in, do you have the right type of products that can sit there?
So, Kevin, talking of infrastructure, and I should have really asked a bit more about Baselinker earlier in this interview, but tell us, how do you help brands and retailers operate on these marketplaces, and both for small startups right through to enterprises? What do you actually do for these companies?
Yeah, Chris. So we are an e-commerce platform, the software solution that provides all of the elements that you would need to manage your end-to-end processes, operations, to be efficient in e-commerce. So we have over, as I said previously, we have over 27,000 businesses across globally that use our software. Some may use just the order management system that we've got, which helps to manage the orders that come in to the business and get those orders out. Some may use all of the different elements of our platform, which is that you can integrate with different marketplaces and manage the marketplace integrations. You can manage your warehouse operations. You can manage your product information to make sure that the product data that you've got is in the right format and the right way to be able to push out to multiple different integrations and software. So it's kind of a complete one-stop hub for you to be able to add all of the elements that you need to be efficient in e-commerce retailing. But how you use it. So we have customers that range from startups that may only use it for linking their web store to our platform. Our platform helps them manage the data that they then need to operationally then push that to one marketplace, because they now want to expand and they want to be on eBay as well as their own Shopify web store that they've created. Right the way through to the other end of the scale, where you would have an enterprise customer that would have multiple warehouses in different countries that wants to manage the fulfillment. So they link in their fulfillment process. They may have an established ERP that they want to connect. And we then become that central point to then manage that data through, push it through to different marketplaces, optimize that data in the right way for those marketplaces, include the different couriers and shipments that would be required for the products that go out. So every single customer normally has kind of a different requirement, but it's quite flexible. So you can use as much and the extensive range of services that we have on the platform, or you may just use one or two that suits you at the time of your growth of your business. But it can be completely different depending on the customer's requirements.
So 27,000 customers around the world. Where are you based? Where did you start? Because you're relatively new to the UK e-commerce scene. So where were you actually established?
Yeah, so actually we're not a new startup. We've been around for 18 years. It was established in Poland by our founder, Seva, who's still with the company. And it was to provide initially a solution for the Allegro marketplace for customers to be able to. He had a friend that wanted to list his products more efficiently and in bulk, and he needed something to help him do that. So Seva saw the opportunity, and then taking that opportunity, created something that other people then wanted to use, and then that obviously snowballed. And over the years, that's grown, and its capabilities have expanded out. And it stayed kind of within the borders of Poland, growing as the biggest market, the biggest integration software available in that country. And then a few years ago, it really was the right time then to push that out into a more global solution. There was a need for the kind of expertise that we had more globally. So we then launched out into other countries, which includes obviously the UK, the US, and into the DACH markets, and across Eastern Europe and into neighboring countries. So we become a full global kind of company, because what we do translates across into all the different regions. We help customers manage their e-commerce. We give them a software that helps them to manage their e-commerce solution, become more optimal, and actually scale, because as we know, as you get bigger, there's more needs and requirements in regards to the volume that you're bringing in and the different things that you need to think about with the different marketplaces and solutions. So, you know, we fit in all those different markets and have grown out of that. So yeah, so there's a lot of customers across different regions, and that's still growing rapidly. And the UK, we're growing a fast rate because people, you know, customers are seeing that we can provide a comprehensive solution to help them scale their business.
So for people that want to find out more, and obviously you're head of the UK, Kevin, so people are going to speak to you. And I know that you are exhibiting at Channel X World in October, but not everyone wants to wait 6 months. How do they get hold of you, and how do they get hold of Baselinker if they want to find out more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can go to our website, baselinker.com, and you'll see on there, there's the opportunity to have a look at what we do and the software and the extent of all the different areas that we support our customers. And you can arrange a free demo. We do free demos, which you can do for 14 days. So, you know, you can have a look and a feel of how the system works. But ultimately, we can also put my details on this conversation, and people can contact me directly.
We'll put your LinkedIn, but just below, so people can see it.
Yeah, they can contact me directly, and myself or the team in the UK will be more than happy to have a discussion about the needs and whether we can provide a suitable solution for them.
Fantastic. Kevin, I want to thank you so much for your time today. A lot of marketplaces out there, from eBay and Amazon to OnBuy to B&Q, Debenhams, Tesco's, Temu. We've covered quite a lot. Look forward to talking again in the future.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chris. Thanks for your time.